and things started to amplify. You think we're going to see urgency early on in this round 3 and 4?
I think so. I think the surfers are going to start to adapt. Obviously, before the event started, you know, deal with what's in front of you. And here, that's what the surfers are doing, identifying that it's a little bit more texture. And I hope they go to the air because it's really helping.
Same. We want to see an air show today. We saw a few in that previous heat, but I think both Ramzi and Barron Mamiya, who got this wave straight off the jump, you know, they're feeling back to the Surf City El Salvador Pro. This happened right after the buzzer. This is live action as we get right into our heat 3 of the opening round. Ramzi Boukhiam absolutely hammering. What did that little wave ever do to him? Why did it deserve such abuse? An incredible start here.
In these conditions and a few regulars as well, but Sammy up and riding.
S.Pupo, he was looking lightning fast in the warm-ups earlier this morning. Seems to be continuing that tradition on down the line. Couple big snaps right there. So far, we're seeing a totally different cadence in this heat than we saw in the first opening 2 heats of today, of bends in the wave and little kind of pockets you can hook off and make those turns look a little bit more impactful. I think all the surfers are finding that right now. You look back at the replay for S.Pupo. The dynamic there, but will that kind of catch instead of going that full reverse and kind of just went fakey for a little while? Will that impede the flow? Really just electrifying this lineup. The scores are not telling the same story. A 4 and a 3.94 or 3.93 for Ramzi. Judges looking for more, looking for a little bit more excitement. So I think all 3 of the surfers in the water right now are going to get that note. Do you want to stick to turns? Do you want to hunt a ramp? So far, I think the biggest scores of the day we've seen.
Forehand, you're going to see here Barron. He's going to get up in vertical a few times, but he's actually able to open up on the 3rd turn. So the 2nd turn gets nice release right there. And right here, you're going to see him carve down, use that inside rail. Beautiful turn from him, and going to finish it off. A little catchy right there in the end, but the damage was done before. It's a nice way to start a heat with the 4-point ride and this to back it up, and what most likely will be his best wave so far.
You know, I think it's going to come down to the details, right? The little things on these waves. There are small opportunities.
I don't think so. I think when you risk yourself, the judges are going to reward, and we'll get back to that later.
2 massive turns. 3 for Ramzi Boukhiam. Feeling right at home. This long right-hand point break. You know, he surfs waves like this day in and day out at home in Morocco, and that right there was a message to the judges. Give it to me. Hammered that wave from beginning to end.
So I think that's, I guess, what a magic board feels like to me.
All one organism. Now, Jesse, this is how you surf when you've had 3 17ths in a row. You surf with intent, with malice, and even a little bit of anger here. We see every turn that Ramzi's doing. It looks like he's exercising his slow start demons right here at Puerto Roca.
I mean, you have to, and this the great thing about for Ramzi, like, this is his bread and butter, and the next 4 events are right-hand point breaks, and he grew up on those in Morocco.
Over his opening wave, now we see with priority S.Pupo. Sammy, always a surfer to watch. Can do the unexpected. He leans on a couple high-speed turns. And this is real time. This is not sped up. That's the amazing thing about this wave. It allows these surfers to go all out, full speed. And there you see, I mean, look at the water in front of these waves. See some opportunity knocking here. Ramzi Boukhiam, second priority, so he actually uses his priority here. Here he is winding up. And you know, when he goes into that deep bottom turn, his kind of wingspan spreads out. He has a lot of torque in these turns. Quick couple of snaps right there through to this inside section. He's really just fighting for every point here, but making it look good too. Solid finish there, watch out.
Oh, it hit.
Yep, that was contact.
There's nothing left to be done on that turn.
I liked all those turns, but they were pretty similar. Are the judges going to be putting a lot of emphasis on creativity and mixing up your maneuvers today?
I mean, sometimes that's not going to be too much of a factor because it's tricky right now. I think what lacked on that wave was just intensity. As much as the wave was taller, it felt like it was going to be a gem of a wave, but it kind of got shouldery, so you always had to kind of like force the turns into it, you know, just drawn out and no water whatsoever. So like you mentioned, when you're trying to duck dive and find the gaps in between, you're kind of worried about that.
You gotta have those boulder blinders on. Don't worry about it until after the wave is over, because all these surfers are gonna need every point that they can earn out here today. As we see Barron Mamiya, quick start there, a little catchy on that second turn. There he goes into it, nice flowing third turn with the added tail whip, adds a fourth, gets into this inside section, decides to keep flowing down the line. Again, just sticking to that power game. Skill levels, but especially the elite, like this guy right here, Barron Mamiya.
Yeah, that was a nice wave from Barron. Like you mentioned, here gets a bit sticky, but cleans it up on the next one. You're going to see the nose of that board going all the way back around, pushing that back foot. And the wave dies out a bit. He just knows he needs to try his best to put something better on the board than a 4-point ride, because there's, you know, you expect Sammy to do something decent in the next 15 minutes. But look how he's going to bring that front arm all the way around to redirect the board and bring that nose to the steep part of the wave, pushes that back foot, releases the tail.
There is one name on that list that is looking absolutely unstoppable. That is Italo Ferreira, but we'll see. You know, wild things can happen down here in El Salvador just like that. S.Pupo. That's the urgency we're looking for. That's the creativity torquing
the
into
upper
those
body.
turns.
Yeah, like it's just, it helps him out, sets him up for success. Nice pop there for Sammy, but just that wave running down a little bit too much. First wave, it's going to be.
Barron, deep out the back, has to let Ramzi Boukhiam go. And here we see destruction is about to begin. Bam! Second turn, a hammer. I mean, do we even need to talk? Because you can hear those turns from the lineup. You can hear that visceral, snapping carve off Ramzi Boukhiam's rail. And we heard that hand clap too. He is psyched.
I mean, it's a little early to say, but I feel like that's nail in the coffin right there. Like the damage he's done on that turn with the 7.17 that he already previously had. All right, notice how this wave is much clearer than anything we've seen it besides the 717 from Ramzi, and that just gives him the opportunity to open up on those bottom turns. You can notice his front hand goes very up and vertical before the board, so that's the reason why he gets so vertical and so powerful. Just beautiful technique. That's getting closer.
Yeah, kind of crazy how different a lot of these waves are looking. This one has a glassy face, high speed, looking for the ramp. Finds it? Not really. You know, some pop off the top. You know, a flat air section is not going to fool any of our judges. They want to see you challenging yourself. That was a great turn for S.Pupo. Not a great wave. And you can just see language says it all right there. Sammy not liking what that last wave offered him. Barron right behind him. This one goes pretty frothy. But that's the tale of
the first event of the year. But the other guys, the pressure adds up as well.
Here we go. Barron Mamiya currently in second place. Nice slidey snap there to start. There we go, blowing the tail, but goes down. So kind of just trying to force it, which for him, one big air, one big section. Will he get it? He's got some speed. Big snap to start. Trying to just fight against this white water, and it's a losing battle. S.Pupo, the aggression, the radical backhand surfing of Ramzi Boukhiam gets the win. He'll be moving through with Barron Mamiya, S.Pupo into that elimination round. We'll be back with more surfing